And welcome to another episode of Lost in Minecraft. Today I am going to be live recording the VO, so hopefully that goes alright and everyone can hear me well. Today's episode is going to be slightly different. We're going to have a look at a new series I'm planning on doing on materials and monsters. It's going to be a two-parter at the moment, but it will be expanded in the future. So today we will be starting off with the materials. There are a wide variety of different materials, as you can see down there, available to players, depending on where you are in the game, what you're wanting to do, and what tools you have available. So, we shall start off with a lowly tree. And the main material you can gain from this tree is wood. Wood can be gathered using just your bare hands. It will, I'm in creative at the moment, so it's not actually dropping the block, but it would drop wood blocks in the game, so you can collect those up and use them to create. So what can we create? So you can create oak planks, which are very useful. Once you have some oak planks, the world is quite literally your oyster, because it allows you to make crafting tables. From crafting tables you can create chests, boats, a variety of different tools. For wood you can use to make doors, signs, fences, stairs, slabs, all with their own individual look and individual uses. If you have a look out there on the internet, there are many different builds which make very many different uses of these items. Sometimes though, when you destroy trees, as I mentioned in the video previously, if you take out all the wood, eventually the leaves will start to wither and die. When they do that, they can drop different things, including apples, sticks, and saplings. You can use saplings to plant yourself new trees, replenish the biome, so you do not have to worry too greatly if you think you are destroying everything all over the place. Do not worry. With the different tools, as we have discussed slightly before, you have axes, primarily used for harvesting wood, swords, just for combat, hoes are for farming, shovels are great for sand, gravel, dirt, etc., and pickaxes are for harvesting ores, stone, anything that is a little bit tougher. That is a basic rundown on wood. Once you have harvested some wood, made yourself your first pickaxe, then you can move over to item number 2. Before that, quickly, killing certain animals will drop leather. Leather has its uses, but primarily it is an early game source for armour. And this will protect you against enemy attacks, falls, any sort of damage. It's not something to go too over the top in trying to harvest, but it's worth keeping an eye out for. So, onto stone. You'll find this all over the overworld. Sometimes you may have to dig through a little bit of dirt to find it, but it is always going to be there. If you try to harvest it though with just your bare fists, then it will not drop anything, so you will need a tool, such as the pickaxe. Let me see, is this going to behave itself? So if I take a pickaxe, no, because I'm in creative it is not behaving itself, but it will drop a block of stone. You can collect that up, and from that you can create. It'll usually drop, regular stone will drop as cobblestone, and then you'll be able to make stairs, slabs, walls. You'll be able to craft different types of chiseled bricks. If you put cobblestone through a furnace, you'll get regular stone. If you put regular stone through a furnace, you'll get smooth stone. Different builds will require different types of stone, and they all have their own little individual looks, and can greatly enhance different builds. Once you have your stone as well, with the sticks that you got from the trees, you can make stone tools, which are a little bit hardier, a little bit more durable than the wood ones. In the game, as you use a tool, you'll see a little bar coming across the bottom of the screen. That is the item's durability. Once it runs out, the item breaks, becomes useless, and you'll need to get another one. Stone tools will last longer than wooden tools. On your mining adventures, you may well come across these bricks. This is a coal block. Coal is a fantastic resource, primarily used for cooking, smelting and the like. They're great for making torches, so it'll drop as coal items, which you can form into coal blocks if needs be. Save yourself some inventory. It's usually 9 bits of coal will create 1 coal block. You can use your individual coal blocks with sticks to make torches to help light your way and keep away the baddies. Next on the agenda, this colourful little chap. This is copper. Now the game is expanding the uses of copper at the moment, so in the past it's probably been a little bit of a wasted item. You couldn't do a great deal with it, but that is now changing. So if you find some, gather it up, even if you just stick it in your chest and wait for the good stuff to come. At the moment, you harvest it, you get raw copper that you can then smelt down in a furnace or blast furnace into a copper ingot. You can use those to form copper blocks, trapdoors, doors, stairs and the like. There are also items like lightning rods you can create. You can create copper tubes which you can use to make spyglasses. And as you can see here, copper, like it does in the real world, will weather. It will gain an oxidization. You can use honeycomb gathered from beehives to stop it at a certain bit. So if you like the look of this for a build, slap some wax on it and it will not go any further down the path. Next, and probably one of the most useful items, iron. Iron cannot be harvested using a wooden pickaxe. You need a stone pickaxe or better. When it is harvested, it will drop raw iron ore, which you can then, as beforehand, smelt into ingots. Sometimes you will encounter iron nuggets. 9 of those can be combined at a crafting table to create 1 iron ingot. Iron can be used to make iron blocks, doors, trapdoors, iron bars, buckets. Now buckets are definitely worth having. They are very, very useful for collecting certain mobs, lava, water. Always useful to have a couple about. This is also where you can get your first serious bit of armour. Chest plates, leggings, boots, helmets, and upgrade your gear again. Again, these will work faster, be tougher, better durability. A very worthwhile upgrade. But one last note, iron doors do not work like regular doors. You'll need a button or a pressure plate nearby to open and close them. Do not accidentally lock yourself in somewhere. So, next along the way, gold. Looks pretty, is pretty, not great use. Again, you can have raw gold coming from mining, gold nuggets, which you can find in chests or from mob drops. You can create golden ingots, which you can use to craft blocks of gold, golden armour, golden equipment. Unfortunately, they are not a great deal of use. The durability on gold is less than what it is on iron. The advantage that gold does have, however, is that it is cheaper to enchant. That is a subject we will deal with in a future episode though. You can also use golden nuggets with carrots and apples to make golden carrots and golden apples, which when eaten are much better at filling up your food bar and regaining your health. Now this one's a little bit more rare. This is emerald ore. If I remember rightly, this is usually only found in very high places, and other than dropping emeralds, which you can use to create blocks of emeralds, do not have a great deal of uses, but emeralds can be used for trading with villagers and wandering traders. I would not go out of my way to try and find these, but if you find them, it's a nice little addition. Now on to the big boy of the overworld. Diamonds. These you can usually only find really high or really low, and are very difficult to mine. If I remember rightly, you do need an iron pickaxe or better to mine it, and it will drop diamonds. Craft diamond blocks, and then diamond gear. This is the toughest and most durable gear that you can create in the overworld. There is another step up, but you need to travel to the Nether for that, and I'm not dealing with that just yet. So, a few more last minute items. So here we have redstone. You'll find this scattered around various caves and things. When you strike it, it'll light up and it'll glow. Help light your way, but it is a very useful little piece of item for a lot of different purposes. When you mine it, you get redstone dust. You can use redstone dust to craft blocks of redstone, but redstone dust really becomes key when creating machines, devices, farms and the like. As you can see here, you can create redstone torches which are used to power things, comparators, repeaters. You can make trails of redstone. There is actually, I think, a redstone device behind us which I'll have a quick look at. There it is. So, if I fly around as you can in creative. So I've used redstone to help power the system, which helps transport items from the bottom up to the top. The dust paths help transfer the energy from the torches and the observers there. Observers require redstone to be made, and will create a little energy tick when they observe something. But again, that is a future episode. In this little lonely chap, we have got transparent blocks. These can mostly be considered decorative. You can see through them, but they do also have an additional use in that mobs cannot spawn upon them. It is very useful to remember when making various farms and securing various locations in and around your bases. In this chest we have gravel and sand. These are a type of block referred to as a gravity block, which means that whereas if you have a regular block of stone, if you stick it up somewhere, it stays where you put it. Whereas if you take sand, it drops. Gravel, it drops. This does have its uses, but it can also cause a few problems. If you are digging, if you are mining, never dig straight up. If you uncover an area of sand or gravel, it will just collapse in on you and do you damage and potentially suffocate you. So be careful. Gravel can be mined to get flint, and sand can be smelted to make glass. Now, these two little chappies, some of the toughest materials in the game, obsidian. We don't have a great number of uses for obsidian at the moment, but if you find some, gather it. You will need iron, and it will take a lot of mining to harvest. But with these you can create various items for use in the nether and a portal to transport yourself to the nether. And lastly, for this little section, we have water and we have lava. Lava you definitely want to avoid going into. It will hurt, it will burn. You can gather what's referred to as source blocks. They are blocks where lava spawns. You can collect those in buckets and use them for various farms, contraptions and the like. Water on the other hand, you can gather in buckets. You can make source areas like this. So if I was to make a hole, slap some water in it, you can see how it's flowing down to the corner there. If I was to put another bucket down in the opposite corner, the water goes still. It is now all its own source block. So you can scoop it up and do whatever you wish with it. Water and lava do combine in certain interesting ways. They can be used to create either cobblestone or obsidian, depending on which one interacts with the other block. If water interacts with a source block of lava, it will create obsidian, and the other way around, it will create cobblestone. So that is it for the mats tutorial. I hope it was informative and has given you some ideas. Next up will be, in my little building over there, the mobs.